Hello, it's Uncommon Fossil, and today I want to talk about an updated Arceus Tapu Koko deck. Talked about this deck before. It's still a solid choice, and I've updated with some of the new cards and just adjusted it based upon what people are playing today. So go through the deck list, talk about some of the changes, the new cards a little bit, playing what I would describe as a full line of Arceus V-Stars. That's 4 Vs and 3 V-Stars. Obviously, I could play a 4th V-Star, but you almost never want to do that. So leaning more heavily into the Arceus in this. A terrific card, right? 280 HP for a 2 prizer. Very solid there. Trinity Nova attack does 200 damage for 3 colors energy, and then you accelerate 3 basic energy from your deck to your Vs in any way you like. So very nice attack with that benefit for it. A lot of times you're doing 180, as you probably know, because you're using a double turbo energy that reduces by 20, but still 180, and the energy acceleration is very solid. And then it's got the Starbirth ability, which is just one of the best abilities in the game, making this a deck set up pretty consistently. During your turn, once during the game, it's an ability. You can search your deck for any 2 cards, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. So very, very good. And you use the V sometimes, both if you go second, Trinity Charge for 2 colorless energy, 1 DTE attachment. Then you search your deck for 3 basic energies, attach them to your Pokemon V any way you want. So that's useful. And sometimes you'll use Power Edge to do 130. So what do we have that we're wanting to power up with Arceus besides other Arceuses? And there's definitely games that will want to go that way. We have Tapu Koko VMAX, so 320 HP, the tankiest Pokemon in the deck, but of course a 3 prizer as a VMAX. It's lightning type, so hits for that weakness. And it does 180 damage for 3 energy, lightning colorless, so that's okay. But then what partly makes it nice, and obviously with weakness, you can one-shot whatever your Pokemon if they're lightning weak, even a VMAX. But if you have more prize cards remaining in your opponent, then the opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. And paralysis is difficult to deal with, so it is a bit of a comeback deck with this attack. And then a 1-1 Flying Pikachu. Before, I believe I played a 2-2 Flying Pikachu. There is reasons to do that because Flying Pikachu is super useful in some matchups to make sure you hit it when you need it. You could put 2-2 in, but of course you got to cut something else. And that's 310 HP, so 10 HP less than Tapu Koko. Does 160 damage for 3, so 20 less damage, so that the attack's a little worse. It is lightning colorless, so you can attach 1 lightning and a DTE. That is a little bit more flexibility there. But then the reason you want to play Flying Pikachu is matchup dependent, because then if you attack, then during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. So you're immune to basic attackers as long as it stays in the active spot, of course. And it's got free retreat, both the VMAX and the V, so it is a pivot, which is nice to have too. And then 1 Spiritomb, that's a new Paldea Evolve card, which partly helps against Mew VMAX, right, which shuts down Genesec's ability, and Lumineon V, which we don't play, but that is an important card for a lot of decks too. With Fettered and Misfortune ability, basic Pokemon V in play. Both yours and your opponents have no abilities. Our V Pokemon don't have abilities, only that the VMAX and the Arceus, so that doesn't affect it. So it is a useful one of inclusion. So energies, playing 4 double turbo energy, which you usually almost always play with Arceus because you want to get that double turbo into hand early. 8 basic lightning because we want to accelerate, and 1 V-Guard energy. That's the change. We from before had 9 basic lightning before, but we swap 1 lightning for a V-Guard energy just to try to fix the math a little bit. The Pokemon it's attached to takes 30 less damage for your opponent's V Pokemon, so this does help out in some matchups. So trying to figure out still if this is the right include or not, because obviously it doesn't help with Arceus's acceleration when it attacks. Sorry. But I do think it helps some matchups. So going through the trainers, it is a bit of a time to try to be a stall-ish deck, a bit tanky stall deck. So we play 3 boss. A lot of us even play 4. I just think 4 is going over the board, but 3 want to control what our opponent's doing. 2 judge. Each player shuffles their cards into deck and draws 4. So disruption there again fits in with this kind of walling type deck. 3 research just to help set up. 3 Iono could drop a research and make it a 4th Iono. you know, each player shuffles their hand, puts it on the bottom of the deck, draws a card for every prize card remaining, so it helps come back. It also just helps see a bunch of fresh cards early if you don't want to discard them with research. One Cheren's Care. You can put one of your color's Pokemon that has damage counters and all cards attached into your hand, so you can get an Arceus that's damaged out of the board. Although, honestly, for a lot of games, you make your opponent take an Arceus, a 2-prizer, and then 2 of the VMAXs. What obviously would be a Tapu Koko and either a second Tapu Koko or a Flying Pikachu. That makes them take 8 prizes. If you can force them to do that, it can be worth letting them have to 2-shot your Arceus, just because it tends to tilt the game in your favor. So Cheren's Care, I don't think is as important as it had been in the deck, in my opinion, right now. 4 Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards, search for any Pokemon. That's really important. 4 Nest Ball, just to get those basics in play. 1 Switch card, 1 Rope. Those are the switching options in the deck. Flying Pikachu is a pivot, so we don't always need a switch to control our active. 4 Trekking Shoes, just want to dig through the deck, shorten the deck. Instead of playing 60 cards in the deck, you're effectively playing 60 cards, you're playing 56 cards, so you get set up a little bit quicker. 1 Forest Steel Seal Stone. Now, why do we play that when we have Arceus V-Star Power, which is directly better than it? Because we play a bunch of Path to the Peaks. And if we often want to get a path down, and then we can't use our Arceus V-Star Power. So I think the Forest Seal Stone has some value. Although I did adjust the stadium count. Before I just played 4 Path and no additional stadiums. Now I've dropped it to 3 Path and 2 Stormy Mountains. Because that way it gives me a bump to Path, and it does give value to the deck too. During each player's turn, they may search their deck for basic Lightning or basic Dragon Pokemon, put it onto their bench. So want a stadium that I can make use of, obviously get a basic Tapu Koko V or Flying Pikachu V onto the bench. That's a plus. But for most of our opponents' matchups, this won't help them. So we want a stadium that helps us, but not our opponent. And then 1 Miriam allows us to recover Pokemon. Shuffle up to 5 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. If you shuffled any cards into your deck this way, then you draw 3 cards, so you get some Pokemon back in the deck and draw, and it's just a nice option. Could play Superior Rod instead, or Super Rod, I apologize, Super Rod, which gets Pokemon and or energies into the deck up to 3. But I think having the draw that Miriam adds on is the better way to go with this deck. I think I prefer that. So let's jump in and see how the deck performs. It's been working pretty solidly for me, but we'll see what we're up against here. All right, so I will choose heads, which is my go-to call for coin flips. I've lost that, so I'm going to turn out a little sound while we're waiting here. See what our opponent chooses. Probably they'll go first. With Arceus decks, if you can get Arceus and a double turbo into hand, it's okay going second, right? Because you're getting your energy accelerated, so it becomes really important to get the cards we need turn 1. So this is all right. We have an Arceus. We have Forest Seal Stone, so we'll probably use that. That will guarantee us the double turbo. We have Nest Ball, so we can choose what bench Pokemon we want and accelerate energy to them. Lunatone Solrock, so certainly cards that I really like. Might be playing the, what is it, the Mew V-Star. So this is a fun matchup. So I want to get Flying Pikachu into play. That's a priority here because that's a basic, Lunatone's a basic attacker. The Mew V-Star or some other, they may have some evolution Pokemon also. Let's see what's in there. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to toss down, see Flying Pikachu. Let's see what else. So we have good. With the 1/1 Flying Pikachu, it's a concern, right? That could be prized. Do I want to get down? I guess I'll toss down the Tapu Koko also. I think that might be useful. Shouldn't need Spiritomb. So I'm going to Forest Seal Stone to somebody. I'll toss it here. I'm going to Iono. I'd rather hold off on the Forest Seal Stone. I'd rather just draw into a DTE. Of course, those other cards are pretty nice. All right, so this is very nice. So got the DTE so I can save the Forest Seal Stone for next turn. Got a really nice set of cards here. So this is a really, really good start to the game for us. Hopefully, the worst thing that would happen is my Flying Pikachu gets knocked out, right? Which they probably can't do that, but I'm not sure if they can. I mean, they get 4, 5, there's 150, 60, 70, 80. I don't believe they can one-shot me. And then so now that I think about it, maybe I should not have thrown down the Tapu Koko. It's an interesting question. So I might. So I didn't play my Stormy Mountain because I didn't need it last turn. I wanted to save it to bump their stadium, right? That was one of those thoughts that went through my head. I didn't mention it, but I want to mention it out, right? Don't play a stadium generally if you don't need it, because you can use it to bump the next turn. Obviously, if I had Path to the Peak, and I thought that was good for the matchup, I would play that. So I might just evolve my Arceus and then accelerate to Tapu Koko. Now, because the one thing that I don't like that I did, in one sense, is I'm now questioning playing the Tapu Koko. In one sense, if I can get the Flying Pikachu in the active as my only Pokemon, which is an option with Cheren's Care. Okay, so that's what they're doing. So they didn't knock me out. So all right, well, this is good. This is good. I'm going to bump their stadium. I can evolve with Arceus. It's all good here, right? So I could research, but then I'm not guaranteed. I could research, right? Let's see. Have I discarded any energy? No. All right, so I'm going to grab my Arceus V-Star, which I can use to grab the Flying Pikachu. I'm going to play the research. Might as well hold off on using my V-Star power as long as I can. I managed to avoid it last turn, and I managed to avoid it this turn as well. I could attach a DTE to Tapu Koko. I think I will. And now I will just knock them out. Does 160. It's immune to basics, so that's all they're going to have to attack with next turn, unless, well, I guess they could play the one with the reversal energy, the stage 2 that goes down from the hand, right? They could play that. I'm at 190 HP. I don't expect that they play that. What is it, Luxray? I'm trying to remember. So I'm in really good shape. So they're playing Path, but which is okay. I mean, it's actually a smart play on their part. Right now, I lose Arceus' V-Star power, but I have Flying Pikachu. But Flying Pikachu has damage, so if I lose my Flying Pikachu, I'm definitely in trouble. So I would love to get a boss and knock him out, which I could use my V-Star power this turn, right? That is an option. Definitely an option. Do I want to do that? No, I think I'll wait. I think I'll just straight up attack this turn. All right, I'll just attack. I'm a little uncertain there. I'm just trying to think through the downsides of different options. Obviously, I take a prize. They can't knock out my... They need a rope and a boss to hit into my Flying Pikachu. Now, they probably can get enough energy to damage to knock it out. 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 energy on it. Or more, if they can get more energy in the discard and more Soul Rocks on it. Like, so 1, 2, 3. So if they had 6, that's 180. They need... what, 6 energies on it. So Okay, V-Guards. I want to start powering up the other Pokemon some too. I'll just attack. Again, I could Star Alchemy. The 2 Soul Rocks, they can recover 1 turn though, so it's a bit of a risk, but there's always risks with different things. So Iono, I probably don't want that though. No Pokemon in the discard, but I can use Miriam down the road. I can discard a couple Pokemon from hand, which I think I will do. With Ultra Ball and Miriam, right? Might as well. Let's keep things working. I don't need another Tapu Koko. Shouldn't need another Arceus V-Star. I'll just grab a Spiritomb. I don't want to bench it. I'll play Miriam. I'll toss them both in. I don't really care. Draw 3 cards. All right, so got Boss, and I wanted Boss, right? Boss was what I wanted to see there. So next turn, I definitely use Boss. Take out the Lunatone with the energy. We'll see if my opponent stays in the game. Even they may concede. They got in trouble early, or I got up on them pretty easily early. That's a desperation play on their part, sending up that Lunatone with the energy. I don't have to gust them out, so they're just right. So that now they're using the proper attack. I think that they were given the option for either attack, so they didn't make the mistake of using the wrong attack. So that is good job by them. I still have Star Alchemy. I do have one other stadium. If I was just thinking through options if the game were to continue longer. I don't think it's going to. They may let me just knock them out. I don't know. I mean, they'd have to have a rope. Honestly, they've lost the game, right? Even if they had rope Boss, and they could get the Lunatones on the bench, which they in theory could with Rescue Carrier. They can't. And let's say they knocked out my Flying Pikachu. My Arceus comes in and blows them away. The only way they could not to avoid losing next turn would be to bench and promote a tanky Pokemon. Of course, I have Boss in hand, so it's a pretty big hand size I got there, right? I have Boss in hand, so I would just gust them up. Okay, so they play Mewtwo, the V-Star, so they may try to send up the Mewtwo V-Star. I mean, that's their play not to lose this turn. Tapped on the mic. I don't know if it made a sound there or not. If it did, I apologize. Hopefully it didn't make a loud sound. It does have a little foam on it, and that probably at least quieted it, right? It didn't make a big clink, which I imagine it would have done otherwise. All right, so they conceded. They had nothing. So the deck's set up very nicely there. We'll jump in and try another game. So pleased how that went, certainly. And obviously my opponent just didn't get going there. So, all right. Oh no, I don't know why I get that collective bug. Look, my elo has really dropped, so I'm up to 300, up to Score Bunny. Obviously the season reset recently, so I dropped down with that, and then I was working on a Jump Bluff deck, which wasn't the best deck. It's okay at this point. I made a video on that. I was working on some other decks too that were far inferior to Jump Bluff. Was working on a single strike deck using Houndoom, single prizers, not quite. I don't quite have the pieces for that right now. Was working on a single strike deck, a rapid strike deck with Jump Bluff, but some other Pokemon that was really bad. I will just say that, and I deleted that deck. So it had the Minin and the Plussy. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, so that's a good start for me. That was a lightning combo. The one puts Pokemon on your bench. The other one. So this is a nice start to things. Kricketot. So I'm not sure what I'm up against. I think I will attach this tool. It will just help as a safety to do. I don't think I need Spiritomb. I'm not sure though. Spiritomb might So, Chen, Spiritomb only stops Vs. It doesn't stop EXs though. So even if there's EXs with abilities, it does not stop them. So this is the Fortress EX deck, I think. They can't attack now because they don't have the energy. So Ionoing, which I don't like to see, but it does mean I am glad that, okay, so that's good there. Flying Pikachu, so I'd like to see Ultra Ball. I wasn't sure if I had to use the Forest Seal Stone. I need both the V-Star for Arceus and an energy to attach. All right, so I don't know that I want to play Iono. I don't think I need another Arceus, right? So I'll ditch them, get the V-Star. I can power up the Flying Pikachu, which I like. I think I... All right, let me see what I draw into. I'm going to Iono, see some new cards. Okay, so I don't... Let me flip. Do I want to get... I think I want to get the V... Oh, that's nice. Okay, so... So I think I could save my V-Star power. So let me toss that, and I'll keep those two supporters. I don't want to toss too many energies, but that's okay. Oh, I don't have... I was sloppy on my part. Sloppy. That is... I didn't... my Flying Pikachu VMAX is prized. So I want to get down Tapu Koko V and accelerate to him. That's what I want to do. Hit into them, see what happens. That was not good on my part. I should have paid attention to my Flying Pikachu being prized, right? That was... There's no excuse for that. I'm pretty sure I could have looked for that. Always check for that, especially when you're looking to power up a particular Pokemon. You have a 1/1 line. Even if you have thicker lines than that, make sure that you have the evolution Pokemon that you're going to need, because Flying Pikachu V is okay, but it's really not much. It really isn't that good without the VMAX, right? It is not immune at all. So, but I caught the mistake at least before I attack with Arceus, so I could get down the Tapu Koko and start powering him up. And I will probably research, although I might boss. We'll see what my opponent does, right? I might want to take prizes. I'm not sure. So Arven, what's this guy do again? It's a very fancy Arven. Search your deck for an item and a tool. I mean, they do play the Bravery Charm, so that's part of why. If you want to get a tool, Arven obviously is useful in decks. Most decks aren't tool dependent though, but I do like Bravery Charm, so if decks that want to play that, Arven is an option. We'll see what they have. I'm going... we'll see if I want to... I might want to research also. I would like to evolve the Tapu Koko. I would like to... I still would prefer to save my V-Star power, right? So, so we'll see. I do think I need to evolve Tapu Koko, though. So I'd rather than... I think if I use Boss, then I'm going to have to use my V-Star power. Because... assuming they hit into my Arceus, which maybe they can't, then I could get a little aggressive, and because he does 220, right? So let's see what they're searching out here. Are they gonna play the Fortress EX? They are. Okay. So Fortress EX. which means they accelerate 5 energy, so now they can do big damage to me, which is fine, but that does mean they can knock out my Arceus V-Star. Next turn, not this turn, but therefore I really have to get my... Alright, so they're going to hit into me with the active Wu-Chen, so I think I just want to knock him out with my Arceus, accelerate energy, the Flying Pikachu. So I take 2 prizes, and I'm going to try to take 2 more prizes the next turn. So they conceded. I'm not, I was going to be up 4 prizes at the end of my turn. They weren't going to take a prize. They were in a tough spot. So my opponents things didn't go smoothly for my opponents, but you can see that the deck does set up and does work pretty well. So Arceus, Flying Pikachu, a very solid choice. Still get this dumb glitch. You probably do too. You can let me know if you get this glitch in the comments below, where randomly at the end of games and such, I get this collected thing with nothing and done. And I didn't click anything to show that. It just kind of shows up. Now, it doesn't hurt anything per se, so therefore it's not as bad as some glitches. It doesn't break the game in terms of gameplay, but it's just sloppy, shows the sloppy state of the game. But hopefully the game keeps getting better. Hopefully you find a deck you like. If you're looking for one, Arceus Tapu Koko, still a very solid choice. Take care.